Well, hello, everybody. Greg Peterson alongside Steve Sipple, and we've got a little bit of a company behind us, as you can see. Nebraska is starting to wrap up their fall camp preparations and started preparations for Northwestern today, Steve. Mm-hmm. And it was a defensive day that we heard from Coach Shenander, Coach Dawson, and Coach Bush, and a few other players. And Coach Shenander had some glowing things to say about the offense and the scrimmage overall.
Yeah, actually, it's the last question to Eric Shenander, the defensive coordinator. It was about how's the offense looking. He gave a pretty good answer. Mm-hmm. In fact, when he talked about specific position groups, players, he mentioned the running backs first. Yeah. Now, I think that's telling because we've heard throughout camp and really starting in the spring that group has been strong. Mm-hmm. He also said Trey Palmer has made a lot of big plays, and he called Travis Vokalek, the senior tight end, a matchup nightmare.
Absolutely.
It was interesting, and I thought it was somewhat illuminating to hear Eric be very specific.
I did too.
Yeah, so that was good. That's what we've been hearing. Palmer's a big part of this. Vokalek healthy now, and they're counting on him, and the running back core has been good.
Absolutely. And, moving over to special teams a little bit, we heard from Brian Buschini.
Yeah.
And, I think the biggest takeaway today that it was a rainy day, and that fired up Coach Bush. He loves being able to practice in those kind of conditions.
He does.
And Brian Buschini also was the same way, and they thought it was a really good tune-up for going over to Ireland because the weather will be very similar over there.
Yeah, that was a takeaway. All due respect, my friend, my biggest takeaway from Buschini was that he's had a much better August than he had spring. Mm-hmm. And he said he's been much more consistent, and it's about where he is aiming his foot to the ball, which is the nozzle. And I didn't know, maybe you knew this, I didn't know the nozzle is where you put the air. So that's where he aims.
Yeah.
He's got an aiming point now. He said he's never done that. He got it from Johnny Hecker.
Oh, wow.
He talked to Sam Cook, the former Nebraska punter, about it, longtime Ravens punter who just retired. Now, and I had heard that he didn't have a great spring, so it was good to hear Brian Buschini say, "Yeah, I've had a much better August."
And I know, a lot of people have want to know what went on in the scrimmage on Sunday.
Yeah.
What have you heard? Who performed well on Sunday?
Yeah, Sunday scrimmage. I think it was. I hate to blow sunshine all the time, but I think it was pretty good on both sides of the ball. O'Shawn showed up. Blaise Gunderson. Okay, so O'Shawn's an edge rusher. We expect him to be pretty good, and he was good. He was good in the scrimmage, I've heard. Blaise Gunderson, according to Eric Shenander, had a good scrimmage, showed up, made plays.
Yeah.
The defense, Eric said, was better than the first scrimmage.
Yep.
A lot of mechanical stuff, getting from the nickel to the dime. Substitutions were cleaner, that sort of thing.
Right.
Offense, what I've heard is the tackles held up well,
mm-hmm.
and that's the big question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Teddy Prohaska held up well on the left side. I think Ben Hart's had a pretty good camp on the right side at tackle. A.J. Allen showed up. That's another thing. And Anthony Grant. Those are the running backs that played particularly well in that scrimmage.
And Janarian Bonner had a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah, Janarian Bonner in lower units, but still, he caught a couple touchdown passes, and I believe both were from Heinrich Harburg.
Wow.
But that's good. That's good. Those kids need confidence.
And they were practicing on grass, getting ready to go play in Avia Stadium, by the way, which is a grass field. So. Mm-hmm. You never know what the conditions are going to be like there. If it's rainy, Brian Buschini said it could be, a pretty muddy track.
Yeah.
So they're ready for it, though. I think that's one of my biggest takeaways from the day, especially Isaac Gifford. He had talked about the chemistry of the defense, and he said those guys are all best friends, mm-hmm. Which I think is very telling right there. And he said that if they had to play a game tomorrow, he said they're ready to go.
Good.
So they'll wrap it up here for today. Nebraska will be back out here on Thursday, and our final media access will be on Sunday before we all pack up and go over to Ireland, go to God's country.
Yeah, I thought we were in God's country.
Well, it's somewhere, right?
Okay, yeah.
Everybody, thanks for watching.